All right, thank you so much, Harry. I just want to make sure that everybody can hear me clearly. And we're going to go through each of these slides together. Hopefully you've had the opportunity to download the handout that was right before you. And I just want to look at the audience view just to make sure. Okay, awesome. Let me go back. Oops, hold on. I want to go back. All right, so let's just go through. I wanted to do that, the main screen with you first, so that you would be able to get to know a little bit about me. I'm going to turn off the drawing tools because I think it makes it a little bit easier when I do that. But let's first go ahead and look at the title slide, Clinical Documentation ICD-10, ensure the note supports the diagnosis code build. My name is Dr. Sloan Kelly. Like Harry said, I like to call myself a weirdo kind of doc, and the fact that I like to mix the business side and the clinical side together. I think it gives you a different view when you have that clinical piece that builds along with the business part. And especially in regards to clinical documentation, I think it is very, very important to understand what needs to be documented so that we can build the most specific diagnosis code. I am president of Dr. Sloan Kelly Consulting. You can visit me on my home on the web at www.drsloankelly.com. Also, if you're like me and you have questions after the webinar is over, you can always shoot an email to me at dreama@drsloankelly.com. And I try to remember to give you that information as we go forward. I want to say that I reminded you again at the end of the webinar as well. All right, so let's go to the next. So you will be instructed at the end, if you have any questions, what you're going to see is that you're going to be instructed to go ahead and ask your questions at the end of the webinar. Now, you're not going to be able to do that live, so you're going to actually have to type them in. Now, I'll give you a little trick to the trade about what I tend to do. What I like to do is I actually like to write down my question while I'm listening to the webinar so I don't forget the information that it's in the forefront of my head. And then 9 times out of 10, my question gets answered as we're going through the webinar. But after it is over, then I'll type it in and send it over. So just keep that in the back of your mind. And also remember, if you do have questions when it's over, you can always send me an email. So are you ready for some fun? So the reason why I put this up here is just to remind myself, to give you a little bit of information about myself and my style. So what you're going to see is that I like to give you a lot of information in the Power Pack format. What I try to do is drill down information into a couple of ways. One, so it's in biteable chunks, but two, so that's relatable and that you can actually use this in your everyday setting. When it comes to clinical documentation today, what you're going to see me do is try to give you some tidbits on being able to communicate with your providers to make sure that they understand what needs to be documented. I'm going to give you tips on how to get us doctors to hear you, and also some very important tips to make sure that the documentation is there to support the codes that are built. So as an overview, I'm just going to give you a little overview here. As you know, ICD-10, wait a minute, oh my God, the screen. I minimize it and it goes every time. Just one second, guys, just hang in there with me. It just minimized my screen and it's not showing what I wanted it to show, but
no problem.
There we go. Let's go. All right, let's go right back here. All right, so just so you guys have an idea about what's going on, as you know, ICD-10 diagnosis